Greetings everybody and welcome to the 1000 Year Blood War review for episode 9, The Drop. Very interesting episode this week, a lot of building. Last week was a lot of action packed, this week was a lot of setting the stage for the next invasion. The show opens, let's just get straight into it. The show opens on Shinsui in his office reading a letter from the Central 46, knowing that he's officially been named head captain of Squad 1. His lieutenant is shocked by this and rather upset, but he has no choice because Genryo Sai is now dead, so somebody needs to take over the job as head captain of Squad 1, and Shinsui has been chosen by Central 46. We then cut to Ichigo being healed in the Soul Palace. Well, not the Soul Palace, one of the cities of the Soul Palace, in the hot springs of, what's his name? Tenjiro, the hot spring demon. He finds it remarkable that Ichigo and Renji have healed so quickly, considering the two attendants that were there were wearing specially protective suits for while they were in the hot springs. When they come out, they appear to have absorbed some of the injuries from Renji and Ichigo, and they are amazed that they've managed to heal so quickly. Tanjiro is especially surprised that Ichigo is so strong and sturdy. They finished healing, so he sends them in an cannon, because that's how you travel about in the Soul King's Palace. You go by cannon, and launches them to the next city, which is called the Gonkaidon, or Palace of Food, where they are sent up to basically eat and refill their energy. The lady whose name I can never remember, who is in charge of feeding them, and her entire palace is just restaurants and kitchens and everything else, gets thin as she cooks because she puts her reishi into the food, and as you absorb the food, your spiritual pressure grows and increases and strengthens, but she gets thinner and thinner and thinner, except for her boobs, because my brother is smart to point out she pretty much has the largest boobs in anime, because why not? Somebody had to beat Rongiku, and it's her. They sit there for the next few minutes eating, talking about the fact that maybe we shouldn't be here, maybe we should be training like everybody else in the Seirete, and Renji basically turns around and says, "You're an idiot. We were put into the hot springs to heal because we were injured. We're now eating to regain our strength. It's all to prepare for the training ahead." At this point, Konohana bursts in and basically says that she's not surprised the lieutenant would figure this out. But you need to be careful in the next place you're going, because the next place you're going, he's rather unpredictable. Nimai, the man who created the Zanpakuto. We will not be seeing him in this week's episode. I'm assuming they're holding it off for next week, but I'm fascinated by this because he created the Zanpakuto. He is the man who created the sword the Soul Reapers use, and Ichigo's sword, as you know, has been broken and damaged, as has Renji's. So it'll be very interesting to see either the repairs done to the swords, or, as I know, Ichigo's new weapons, which he will receive probably in the next couple of episodes. I would imagine before episode 12, which is going to be the mid-season break. After this, we cut back to Shinsui in his office, talking to a member of the newly elected Central 46, telling the elected member of the Central 46 that he is planning to teach Kenpachi Zaraki Zanjutsu, or Bunkai. The new member of Central 46 is like, "You can't do this. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely absurd. We told old man Yama he couldn't train Kenpachi and Kendo after one day because he's too powerful. If he gets too strong, we wouldn't be able to stop him if he revolts." To which Shinsui responds, "Tough. We need him. We need that man that strong, because we cannot repel the next invasion if it comes without him." So he calls in Unohana, who most people have known throughout the entirety of Bleach as the head of the medical corps for the Soul Reapers. Unohana is actually the original Kenpachi. She's part of the original Gotei 13. Her name means 8,000 style, because she has learned every single fighting style that exists. There is no one she fights that she cannot counter. There is no one she fights that she cannot beat. And Shinsui tasks Unohana with being the one to train Kenny. Now, Kenpachi Zaraki got the nickname Kenpachi when he beat Unohana in combat. He didn't kill her though, he just put one scar down her chest, and she put one scar down his eye. So he never actually won the fight, and she merely retired and became the medical ninja to change her ways, in much way that Captain Yama wanted to not be the monster that he was when he was younger. Neither did she. But she has now been informed that she has to train Kenny, and they have gone to the Muken, or infinite training space below the Seirete, to do this. It's a very dark room with infinite space infinite boundaries, and it's just made of rock. They start their fight, and Kenny is very quickly handled. Unohara is unbelievably good at what she does. She is so powerful, so quick, so talented that nobody could really stand up to her. And within a couple of minutes, she's already sliced Kenny's throat. A couple of minutes later, she stabbed him through the neck and killed him. Kenny wakes up, and he finds himself again cross swords with Unohara, and he's confused. He says, "Wait a minute! I just thought I died, but no time to think. I've got to concentrate on this battle," and he charges forward. In the meantime, Unohara is sat there thinking, this might not go well, but it's necessary, Kenpachi, because every time you get close to death, you get stronger. That is the flaw that you installed in yourself. This is intriguing to me because it is essentially, as my brother pointed out to me earlier on, he gets Zenkai boosts. If you don't know what a Zenkai boost is, you should be watching Dragon Ball Z. But a Zenkai boost is what happens to a Saiyan after they die or become close to death. When they heal, they become double the strength they were previously. This is how Kenny works. The more he gets beaten down, the stronger he becomes, until eventually he breaks his limits. When he breaks his limits, we don't know. I'm hoping we see it before episode 12, but I doubt we will. Ichigo and Renji eating like nobody's business on a feast that they have been prepared. It's an insane amount of food. The lady who's cooking for them comes out of the kitchen. She's lost all this weight because she was previously very fat, but she's put so much reishi into the food for them, she's thinned right down again. And basically informs that they are now going to see Mugen, the head of the guy who created the Zanpakuto, which we'll see in the next episode. Like I say, a lot of world building in this episode, a lot of putting Ichigo and Renji in their spot, a lot of putting Kenny in their spot, a lot of putting Shinsui in his spot, and Unohara in their spot. Not much else happens. The important thing to notice about the Kenny and Unohara fight is Kenpachi is not wearing his reishi depleting eye patch, which he always starts his fights with on. But in this case, he is not wearing his eye patch, so he's at max power while he's fighting her, and it still isn't doing him any good. It's a phenomenal fight scene. It's a very short fight scene, but it's beautifully well animated. Yet again, the animation in this episode was second to none. I cannot floor the fault the studio, that is filming and animating these shows, because it is tremendous. It's as good as Madhouse or Studio IG or anybody else. Whoever Viz Media got to animate this show is a phenomenal team and deserve all the credit in the world. You can't even notice the CG that is used between the traditional animation and the CGI. It's so well done. But that was episode 9, The Drop. Like I said, not a lot happened this week because it was a builder episode. This was taking us from A, this was B. We need to get to C. We've had A, but we needed to go from B to C, and this was letter B. This was the builder episode. Fantastically well written, fantastically well animated. No complaints at all, and that was the show. So guys, just for me, if you like what we do here at GeekBuddy, if you enjoy the content we put out, please consider leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything we put out in the future. It really helps us out. It's free. It's the only way the YouTube algorithm knows we exist. In the meantime, I love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. I've been Nick the Geek, and I'll see you next week. Bye.